probably more than any other animal, are hardwired to be 100%ers. It comes a little harder for some of the rest of us, but it comes naturally for a horse. From the Gospel of Luke, chapter 18, verses 9 through 14, page 1369, Hebrew Journey Bible. And I will make some comments as we read through these verses, and then we'll look at them in a little bit more depth in a few minutes. And I like this first line. To some who were confident of their own righteousness and looked down on everybody else. If they were confident in their own righteousness, there's a perfect case of unfounded confidence. They looked down on everybody else. So it's a false confidence they had. They were secure not in God's righteousness, but in their own righteousness. Jesus told this parable. Two men went up to the temple to pray. One a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood up and prayed about himself. And notice, even in his prayer about himself, he did mention God. God, I thank you that I am not like other men, robbers, evildoers, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week and give a tenth of all I get. So God, aren't you impressed at my righteousness? Look at my righteousness. It has to be good for something. And what he didn't get is that our righteousness is good for what? Yeah. Nothing. It's a filthy rag, Isaiah said. But is one of those words that when you read it, it should capture your attention. Because Jesus now is going to contrast the Pharisee and this man. But the tax collector, and remember in that culture, even more than now, tax collectors are among the most hated elements in their society. Because remember, tax collectors in that time, I don't know about now, but in that time they worked on a commission basis. They would collect the taxes from their people, the Jews, give the Romans what they asked for, but they would add to what the Romans asked for, and they would keep the difference for themselves. So they exploited their own people on behalf of the Romans and on behalf of their own greed. A tax collector stood at a distance. Why stand at a distance? Because he looked at himself as not righteous enough to draw close to God. Not righteous enough to go into God's presence. The tax collector stood at a distance. He would not even look up to heaven, but beat his own breast and said, God, have mercy on me, a sinner. A wonderful prayer. Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, sometimes called the Jesus prayer. And his was a variation of that. God, have mercy on me, a sinner. And then Jesus said, I tell you that this man, rather than the other, went home justified before God. It was expected by the Pharisees themselves and people who knew them that these were the righteous men because they were scrupulously righteous, very careful about obeying the law. The tax collector, he wasn't worried about obeying the law, disobeying the law. He said, have mercy on me. And you wouldn't ask for mercy if you didn't need mercy. He knew he needed mercy to cover his sin. And then Jesus concludes, for everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. You put yourself in a high position, God will bring you down. You put yourself in a low position, God will do what? He'll bring you up. Prayer requests tonight, and let's